Hi everyone, this is lesson 1, first couple of tasks on Cash Flow Kings. You should have been sent a link in your Teams account to get straight to Cash Flow Kings. If not, go to SharePoint, come to the computing page and click on Cash Flow Kings. And here you'll find all the tasks written down, and we'll have some links to the videos right here showing you what to do each task. Don't forget the tasks are built around stages as you work through the project. In Teams we'll tell you what to do lesson by lesson. Some of you will get through them quite quickly. Feel free to move on to the next task and use up your lesson time. Some of you will find it a bit harder. You'll have technical problems, you won't get something, it'll take you a little bit longer. Don't worry, at the end of the lesson just stop what you've done, upload the work you did in that lesson so we know you spent an hour working, and then next lesson move on to the next task and just try and catch up as quick as you can. Some of you won't get right to the end, don't worry about that either, just upload the work you've done. At the end of the unit we'll assess you by looking at how far you got through the tasks and how creative you were along the way. So what we're going to do today is have a look at the basic features here. So we're going to set up a spreadsheet, income and expenditure. Excel is the spreadsheet we're going to use. I know some of you have got a Chromebook. I think you can get Excel on a Chromebook. If not, you can Google spreadsheets for Chrome and you can find a similar one. They all work in exactly the same way. It may take you a little bit longer to find the research to do it, but yeah, stick with it and it works in the same way. So Excel can be installed and let's get going. So I'm just going to load up my Excel and immediately you get a blank workbook, and as you can see we've got loads of these cells, and cells can be referenced. This is column F, this is row 7, so this cell here is F7, and we'll do more about that in a minute. So you need to start off by saving, so File, Save As, and I'm going to browse. Because I've synced my OneDrive, I'm going to make sure I save it in my OneDrive. You should do the same. If not, just create a folder on your computer, in a computing folder. Make sure you call it Cash Flow Kings. So there's my Cash Flow Kings folder. And I'm going to call it Cash Flow Kings. And then put your name on it. It makes it easier when you hand it in if you put your name at the beginning. So write, then it's in register order, Josh Cashflow Kings. And what I tend to do is put a V1 there and click save. Now pause the video here, make sure you've done that, and use the pause and stop as you work through the video. You know when you've saved it because the name's changed here, and we can start off. Now you've got to come up with a business. Now most businesses have income, which is how you make money, and expenditure, and this is money you have to pay out. And all businesses have a bank account and they have to make sure the income and expenditure every month balances out, and hopefully at the end of it they'll make a profit. So if you just add these words to your spreadsheet, that's a good start. Income, expenditure and profit. Don't forget to pause, don't let the video go on. And we now need a nice title at the top. So I'm going to do mine all about a mountain bike shop. You can choose any business you like. I think shops are a good idea because you've got staff, you've got wages, you've got rent. You can sell different product ranges. People do bakers, stationery. People of course have done hairdressing and restaurants and all things like that. You're not going to be able to do, well, you might be able to if you're enjoying this. What we're going to do is do a simplified version, just so we can prove that we understand the principles. And those of you who get this and want to show off and go for those higher marks, feel free to add as much detail as you think. So mine's going to be all about mountain biking. So I'm going to call it Right Spikes. Right Spikes, and of course that's my business, and Cash Flow Kings. So I've got a title and I've got income, expenditure and profit, and of course make sure you keep saving as you go along. The next thing I'm going to do is start to list down my income. Now, how am I going to make money? And what we're looking for are high-level categories at the moment. I'm going to do 3. I'm hoping you'll do maybe 4 or 5. Some of you maybe even 7. But I'm going to sell whole bikes. I'm going to sell parts. I'm going to have a maintenance section. So there's my income. Whole bikes I sell, parts, maintenance. And then the next part, I'm not sure of maintenance, so I'm just going to go and check my spelling there. So if we go to review, spelling, good, it said it was okay. So that's good, check your spelling as you go along. Right, now expenditure. Now this is where we have to pay our bills. So what bills are we going to have to pay? Well, rent, obviously. Going to need to rent a building. You're going to need some staff. And you're going to have to pay your utility bills. Utility bills and rent staff, and you need to buy stock. So we've now got basics of our spreadsheet. So what we're going to do now is just put some numbers in. Don't worry about too much of the detail on these numbers. We're going to come back and link to more detail later, but just pick some numbers out of the air for now. So we're looking at 1 month. We're looking at first month of the financial year, April. How many bikes am I going to sell? Let's say I sell 10 bikes, about £800 each. So let's say £8,000. Let's say I do about £3,000 of parts, and maintaining people's bikes, £1,500. Now, I need to total that, and this is where spreadsheets get really powerful. What we're going to do now is look at what we call a formula. Now, formulas always start with an equals. So click in the cell, and that tells the spreadsheet that you're going to want it to do some calculations. Click on the first cell, then click plus, click on the second cell, and click plus. Click on the third cell, and when you hit enter, it calculates the total for you. And look, if I go up here and change that 8,000 down to 7,000 and hit enter, and you see, automatically changed the total for us. This is the power of spreadsheets. We can adjust here. Well, let's say I don't sell quite as many plants, and how has it changed the total? Once you've put the formula in place, always starting with an equals, you then don't have to redo the maths. You can just change the initial input numbers. Very powerful feature. Now, over here, let's have a think about expenditure. Let's say it costs me £1,000 a month to rent my building. My staff wages, let's say 2, 3, maybe £4,000. Staff quite expensive. My utility bills, my gas, my electric, my heating, my council tax, and tax. Look, as we go through and we think of ideas, add them in. So utility bills, let's say that's about £450, Wi-Fi and everything. Now, of course, stock's going to be a big part of what I need to buy. Don't know exact numbers at the moment, so I'm going to put down my stock costs are about for, let's say, £3,000. And of course, we have to pay our tax. Let's say that's £1,000. Now we've got some initial numbers in place. What you need to do is go off and do research. Get online, look up prices of things, find out how much it would cost to rent a shop in your neighbourhood, look at the different sizes of shop, speak to your parents about utility bills. Because this is a small business, your bills, you could say, will probably be the same as your bills at home. So yeah, do have a look around, go online, do research, and as you come up with more ideas, don't forget to put them in here. Now, over here, when we added this up, what we did is we used a formula. Can you see? You just clicked plus. You could have put minus, times, anything between the cell references, and it would have done the calculation for you. But sometimes we can use calculations that have already been written for us, and they are called functions. and it's a really powerful feature of spreadsheets. Now go where you want to put your function, double click in the cell, and see it says FX up here. That's insert function. Click FX, and what we get here is all of the different functions we want. Now I want to add something up, so I'm going to go to all, and I'm going to scroll down to the S's until we get what's called the sum function. And the sum function literally does what it says. It adds up a row of numbers. See, it says sum, and you click OK. And what it wants to know is what you want to add up. Now this box is called the arguments of the function. It's a bit like the cells you put into the function. And what I'm going to do now is I deleted what was there and I highlight all of the numbers we want to add up. And can you see it's put here G6 to G10. That's called a cell range. Now I just check that, check it's highlighted everything, and click OK. And look, double click on that now, and can you see it's highlighted all of those numbers, and it says it's going to sum them up for us. Can you see we now have a total for our expenditure? So we've now calculated our income, we've calculated our expenditure. Should we see if we've made a profit? So down here we've got the profit label, and in this cell we want to work out how much profit our business has made. What does a formula start with? That's right, it's an equals. Click on equals. Now to work out our profit, we look at our total income and we minus, so use the little minus key up there, it's the one next to the 0, and we minus our total expenditure. So income is money filling the bag, expenditure is money being taken out of the bag or bank account, and whatever income goes in, you have to pay your bills. What's left is known as your profit. So I've made £1,000 profit this month. Well, that's not a bad start. So that's the first layout we want today. We're looking at using cells and making it bigger. The next part of this is to format everything and make it look good and professional. So these are all trying to think of the word here. We've got to format the cells. Now this is obviously text. These are obviously numbers, but they're also a currency. So if I go right click and go to format cell, there is a quicker way. See if you can find it on the button bar. I'm showing you this way because in more advanced spreadsheets you need more control. So highlight the cells you want to change to currency, highlight them, right click, format cells, and what you get is the format cell dialog box come up. I'm hoping that's going to pop up. It's taking its time. That's very frustrating when it crashes like that. This is why we need to save our work regularly. I'm hoping it's going to wake up any second. Yeah, it's still coming. I'm hoping it will get there. Very frustrating. Come on, Excel, do wake up. No. Here we go. It did wake up in the end. That was very frustrating. Good, I'm glad I waited. So what we've got here, we've highlighted the cell, we've got format cells, and I'm going for currency. And we can set it to decimal places if we want. Because this is a high level part of my income and expenditure, I'm just going to drop that down and make sure the pound symbol's in there. And look, negative numbers in red. That's a good idea. So I'm going to click OK now. So as you can see now, it's put the pound symbol in front of them all. And it's put the commas in so they're easy to read. Aha, look, I need to do that here. Now look, if we go on to the home page, do you remember the format painters? So I'm going to highlight this cell, click on format painter twice, and oops, double click, and click there, highlight all of these, and I've now formatted all of my numbers to be currency, and it looks very professional. What I'm also going to do now is do some general formatting, and this is where we get to make our work look very professional. Obviously headings need to be nice and big and bold, and the cells they're in, if you highlight them, and what we can do is make those cells stand out. Look at that, see, looks good, doesn't it? Now these cells under here, look, if I just change the colour just to be subtly different, and then make that cell really narrow, we can really get some nice little features going here. Obviously, income and expenditure are nice titles, so make them stand out. Income and expenditure. So use fonts, font size, make them bold, make them highlighting. Total and total, I'm going to line those up just so it looks neat and tidy. And obviously totals need to stand out. Now look here, see here? We get different borders here we can set up. I'm going to use a top and bottom. Yeah, it looks professional now. There we go. Top and bottom. And my profit, I'm just going to move that up just so it's a little bit closer and make that stand out. And I'm going to make my profit much bigger. Oh, I don't think I'm going to have the fill there, or maybe I'm just going to follow the pattern, keep it a bit lighter. Yeah, I like that, but I need it to match the colors a little bit more, so I'm going to make that a much stronger yellow. There we go. And that I'm going to make bold so it really stands out. And then you can add some other, yeah, let's add a little bit of shading in here, and maybe go for some orange there, make that stand out. And you can go online and find some color scheme formats for you, and we can do the same over here. Oh, hang on, let's highlight that. And you've just got to spend your time now trying to make your work look as professional as possible. Go online, do some research, look at other spreadsheets, see what they look like, how they make it all stand out. So your job today is to set up your income and expenditure, add some numbers in, use a formula to add up the totals. Over here, use an advanced feature called a function, the sum function here, and then calculate the profit by doing a basic formula here, and then format it and make it look good. Now, as an extension challenge for you, if you go load up Inkscape, you can design a little logo for your business. And if you save that logo, export it as a PNG file. If you go here, insert, picture, and from this device, you can upload that picture and put a nice logo in here as an extension task for you. So that's a brief introduction to spreadsheets. Make sure you save as you go. Make sure you pause this video as you work through it, and you can always rewind it and practice until you get it right. Hope that helps. See you next lesson.